welcome to the second episode of Leyline High Rewind. We hope you enjoyed the first episode. We're already getting some correspondence in from listeners, because everybody remembers Leyline High, don't they? But if you don't, a quick recap. Leyline High is a British children's supernatural drama television series. It was produced by the BBC and ran for over 14,000 episodes between 1972 and 2002. I know I don't need to say that every time, but just if you, as we said before, if you have been living under a rock and don't remember it. I'm Gemma Arrowsmith.
I'm Susan Harrison.
And I'm Thomas Nelstrop.
And we're going through some of our favourite episodes of Leyline High across the 30 years that it ran, and also delving into some of our favourite characters as well.
Yeah.
Susan, this week you were choosing your favourite episode, or favourite sort of era of the show. What was it?
Yeah, favourite era and episode. My favourite era was definitely the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the best era. I mean, it's the best decade, full stop.
Absolutely.
I did grow up in the 90s, so I absolutely love that era anyway. I love all the music. And it also was an era for Leyline High that became very much kind of issue-based, which looking back is hilarious, but at the time feels like really on the nose. But at the time, I remember watching that as a teenager and being like, this is really deep and much more meaningful than people give it credit for, if you know what I mean.
Dealt with a lot of stuff, and there were a lot of issues in the 90s, let's face it.
So many issues, and the writers like to cram in as many as possible. In this episode, we have depression and smoking, as well as disagreements over whether Britpop or grunge should take priority.
Yeah, and that's the big one, isn't it?
Isn't it?
At that stage, I think everyone was thinking about, the music rivals of the time.
Yeah. What was your feeling, Tom, in terms of 90s music?
I just loved all Britpop, anything that was jaunty, had a twangly guitar and, went along at a sort of Cockney sort of pace.
Yeah.
Did you know what I mean by a Cockney pace?
I do know what you mean by a Cockney pace.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. I loved the jangly guitar. I loved some Moody Boys with eyeliner. That was always good. Yeah. Which obviously brings us into this episode, because Jared was one of the main characters in this episode, and he was indeed a moody guy with eyeliner who was very into grunge.
Yes. And the most amazing pair of 90s hair curtains that I've ever seen. Like, he's always like he's peering through his hair curtains.
He was. Yeah, you're right. He was like peering through his life and wondering what he should do next.
And it's almost like in some of the scenes he doesn't really have a neck because he's sort of swaying everywhere, right?
So cool.
Yeah, and I love how baggy the end of his jeans are as well. They're always sort of a bit damp with, when they drag
soaking up the rainwater.
Yes.
Now, we should say this era of Leyline High actually gets quite a lot of stick for not having enough supernatural stuff in it. and it's sort of swaying way more towards storylines about drugs and teen angst. And this episode that you've chosen, Susan, is a perfect example of that, because it's sort of issues, and then some supernatural stuff in the last 5 minutes. Isn't it?
Yeah, totally. They're like, oh shit, forgot.
Oh yeah,
it's meant to be spooky.
It's supposed to be something spooky in it. Yeah, and it's all of the spooky stuff happens in like the last 5 minutes, and I would say it's not the spookiest of episodes ever, would you say?
I think the overriding thing from this episode that I remember is the sort of Dear Diary voiceover that goes throughout it.
Yeah. That was a bit experimental for this show as well.
But I just think that's copying so many other shows at the time. Yeah. Sort of like, Dear Diary. Sort of.
Yeah.
So, Susan,
I loved that, obviously.
Of course you did.
Because I was a real avid diary writer. So for me, that really, right. I had like hundreds and hundreds of notebooks all through the years of
Answer
diaries.
me this. As you were writing in your diary, did you have your voice, your own voice playing in your head?
No, I had the guy from the Wonder Years' voice.
Oh, wow, okay.
So the episode you've chosen is from 1995. It's called School Disc Ghost, which is straight out of the gate. What a pun.
What a
Brilliant. Pun. They're really into their pun titles in this era.
They love
Are these
them.
punchy, though? It gets it across really quickly.
That's true, isn't it? You know what you're getting. School Disc Ghost. And it's set on Valentine's Day. And... it's a really good one. I'm really pleased we're looking at this one.
I like the fact that it's Disc Ghost instead of Disc Ghost, because they probably had a talk about it. Is that, are they dissing a ghost, or is it Disc Ghost? Is it Disc Ghost?
Yeah.
But it's Disc Ghost.
Disc
so
Ghost,
that's
CDs,
stuff
exciting
to do with CDs,
new technology.
Yeah.
Susan, do you want to take us through the beginning of this plot?
Yes. So this opens, it's set on Valentine's Day, which again, as a teenager, this massively appealed to me. I know that, Tom, that'll be less interesting to you.
Boring.
So it's set on Valentine's Day, and it opens in class where we meet Angela, who was the main character in the episode, but also pretty much in a large part of the series, I would say. It was
she was getting a lot of stuff.
She was, wasn't she? Yeah. I think because it was a lot of kind of rites of passage stuff that they were looking at, and she was this sort of archetypal teenager.
And they've always got, this is series 23 of the show, and so there's always the sort of cool girl that all of their female viewers are going, oh my God, look at her hair's so amazing in this one, or whatever.
They changed the colour of her hair quite a lot.
Yeah,
I remember.
Sometimes mid-episode.
Yeah, mid-episode. They'd be like, oh, she's blue hair now. Continuity.
Yes, that's right. And I tried to dye my hair to match, but because I've got ginger hair, it doesn't take.
Right.
I don't know if anyone else did you dye your hair when you were a teenager?
I never dyed my hair.
I was a kid, no.
I used to
spray it a colour, but then I used to sort of permanently dye it. No.
Nice.
Did you try fake tattoos? That henna sort of thing was going at the time, wasn't it?
Loved a bit of that.
Did you?
Yeah, but it was when you said henna, actually I was thinking about the henna dye as well. You used to sort of pour it on your head and then sit in the garden with a plastic bag over your head. It's very glamorous.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's right.
I hope that's ringing some bells. Anyway, so it opens. The episode opens in class, and Angela, the other pupils are sort of alluding to the fact that Angela fancies Jared, or that there's some sort of sexual
because they stand
chemistry.
Quite in close proximity, sort of swaying for some of it. So you think, they must fancy each other.
Going out. Yeah. Or they want to go out.
Yeah, swaying from foot to foot.
Which was the 90s mating call, wasn't it?
It was. Did you use that
Do a couple
often?
of sway. Yeah, swayed a bit. Yeah, never got anywhere.
It's worth a try, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's worth a sway. The scene... Well, the first scene we'll listen to, I think, is a little clip where there's a bit of... We meet Angela, we meet Jared, and Miss St. Swithins.
Settle down, 4S. I know you're excited about the Valentine's disco, but...
Yeah, right. Valentine's stuff is gross.
You're gross, Muller.
Just because you want to get off with Jared Begattini.
Oh, no, I don't. Jared, where are you going?
Nowhere.
Oh, this isn't doing anything for my chakras.
I love Miss St. Swithins.
Yeah, she's a legend.
Yeah.
So bohemian.
Yeah, and a real change of pace to introduce her as a teacher. She's a really she's not an authoritarian. We've had all of the sort of, in the 70s and 80s, a lot of these very strict teachers, and then suddenly we've got Miss St. Swithins, who is one of those teachers, I'm on your side.
Yes.
I'm on the student's side.
Express yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than the
it's
discipline,
a real change of pace for the show, I think. Although that said, all the students get one up on her all the time and are always sort of hoodwinking her, so maybe...
Well, she's so gullible.
She's so gullible. Yes. And also, she almost believes too much that there are ghosts. So sometimes there's quite a nice plot where she the reason that these textbooks have been going missing, it's clearly a poltergeist, and it just turns out that they've been nicked.
And isn't
by
that
one of the
episode
year
where she
nines.
sort of goes divining?
Yeah,
around
water divining.
Water
Yes.
divining around.
Yeah, that's that one.
She's convinced that there's a... Yeah, well, she knows about the ley lines, obviously.
She knows about the ley lines and investigating them, which is really lovely. This new teacher that's joined the school and is committed to finding out.
I think she goes for that school in particular
Deliberately.
because it's ley lines,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Maybe she only
Right.
applies to places that are on ley lines.
That's good, yeah. We're fleshing out her character.
I think she's great, and also she kind of fits in with the softer tone that they were trying to go for, doesn't she, in the 90s? With this kind of new ethos of the school, almost.
That's true. Yeah, this sort of that soft parenting and
Yes.
soft teaching, and what's it called, pupil-centered learning or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah.
definitely prevalent in the 90s and is definitely prevalent in this show at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens after this scene? So,
So
after that scene...
After that scene, we get to the... such an exciting moment where she catches Jared having a fag having a cigarette for our American listeners, behind the boilers.
It's a dangerous place to have a cigarette, that.
That's true.
You know.
the worst place.
Yeah, not the bike shed, the boilers.
The boilers, yeah.
And she...
A warm place.
A warm place, yeah, a cosy place
Yeah, a cosy
for a
place.
cold British winter.
Yeah, makes sense
It
to
does
him.
make
but
sense. Yeah. And she hears him seemingly having a conversation with another boy, but it sort of transpires that when she looks again, she realises there was no one else there.
no
So
one there.
who was it? Should
We should listen.
Yeah,
and
let's have a
find
listen.
out.
I've only ever played guitar at home, and now I have to do it in front of the whole school.
Jared Begattini and whoever else you're with, come out from the boilers at once.
Sorry, miss.
But where's the other boy you were talking to?
There's only me here, miss.
But I distinctly heard...
Just me.
Ooh, suspense. We don't quite know yet,
Sinister.
but we know there's something spooky.
What is he being told to do?
Yeah, so that we don't want to give it away just yet, but that's where the spookiness starts to creep in.
Listeners, if you've not seen this episode, I think it's fair to say you will never be able to guess who that other boy is,
true.
right?
Yeah.
You should go, it'll be like an Elizabethan boy that's
Again.
fallen through a time hole. That's happened more than once on the show, hasn't it? They love that.
Maybe they just, we can't do the Elizabethan thing again.
So
we will just make them not exist.
Yeah, there's definitely been a Victorian boy that's fallen through a hole in time, an
Yeah.
Elizabethan boy that's fallen through a hole in time.
Yeah.
I think
There's
future
boy.
Future boy, yeah.
They're all
that's
boys
true.
as well.
Boy.
They're all boys, yeah.
Yeah, what the hell?
I don't know.
Did either of you have imaginary friends?
I had, this is very weird, I had imaginary wolves.
Wolves?
That lived in it must have been because of wolves in the walls or something, but they lived in a cupboard.
Did they protect you? Or were they?
Yeah, they weren't they weren't like bad.
Right.
Yeah, so I think the feeling was that they were quite protective or comforting in some way. They didn't last that long. That's so weird, isn't it?
Probably
What about you?
moved on.
Yeah,
went
moved on.
into the wild.
That's such a Leyline High story that someone's got
It's
imaginary
quite.
wolves and then they would turn out to be real wolves. Isn't it? Like
Yes.
that could be an episode.
That's true,
Your
actually.
own imaginary wolves.
Maybe,
That's
maybe
brilliant.
that's why, because of all the Leyline High that I was sort of like ingesting through my childhood, maybe it came out. What about you two?
I never did.
I had an imaginary friend. He was called Tarquin, and he didn't do anything.
Was he honestly called
So
Tarquin?
he was called Tarquin.
He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. It just every so often was like, all right, Tarquin. And he was like, he just didn't say anything.
What did he look like?
Sort of a butler.
Well, that's out of order if he's a
brilliant.
butler and he's not even buttling for
I
you.
feel like it was because I didn't really put a foot wrong there. He
Right.
would have jumped in and
But you're paying him good imaginary money to imaginary buttle for you.
he was quite imaginary expensive.
You need to imaginary chase up the debts.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so what happens next?
Okay,
in
now this is my
episode?
favourite scene where Angela goes into the girls' loos and has a good old chat with her friends. The thing I particularly enjoyed about this is the reference to Kiwi lip balm. I don't know if that means anything to anyone. Gemma, were you a Body Shop fan?
Body Shop was
Body
about to say.
Shop,
Body Shop.
yes.
Body Shop.
Anyway,
Body Shop was massive back then, wasn't
wasn't it? Yeah.
Is Body Shop still going?
No, it quite recently actually closed.
Did it?
Yeah, just this year, I think.
I seem to remember like having a Body Shop tote bag was the sort of desired item and making that your school bag.
Oh,
School.
nice.
I love the bags. I love looking at the school bags throughout as they change throughout the years, and you get those
Head bags. Do you remember
head
head bags?
Exactly.
I don't remember them. What are they?
They're like sports bags made by the brand Head,
okay.
and they had all colours.
Do you remember when you used to get really tired of carrying your massive head bag around? You would basically put
Put
a
it around your
strap
head.
around your head, and you'd be like, and your neck would be like pulling your head back. But you'd be like, at least it's giving my arms a rest.
We had, did this happen at your school? We had like army surplus bags.
Yeah, we did
that?
too with and you'd write the names of different bands
That's
on
it. You could
with
draw on them.
silver pen or whatever or marker pen.
Puma was a big label as well in our school.
A lot of sporty stuff in your school.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
we were a sporty crew.
It sounds
Can
like
you tell?
it.
What I love is when you see obviously those bags, but they've had to put gaffer tape over like the word Puma or the word head because it's a BBC production and they can't
Yes.
advertise, but it's very obvious.
Yeah.
So it'll say het and then gaffer tape, and it's very obvious.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cute.
the girls lose.
So the girls lose. So I think we should
This is
just
good. This is a
see
good
if you
team.
can, listeners, see if you can spot any issues being discussed.
This kiwi fruit lip balm is so nice, I want to eat it, don't you, Angela? Angela, what's wrong?
I'm worried about you-know-who.
Because he's smoking,
Well, it does damage your lungs.
and it doesn't look cool.
But it's not just that. I'm worried he's depressed.
You mean he's down in the dumps?
No, depression is an illness and it's real.
Really?
Yeah, it's way worse than just feeling sad.
I spotted about 5 issues being discussed in that.
I know, I love how unsubtle the writing is at this time.
It's like if you put that onto a page, it would be like, one of those spot the difference or spot the danger sort of things where you just circle, that's an issue there.
Yeah.
Circle
Yes.
that's an issue there.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I once came second in this school contest of spotting all of the things like wires that had been split off and things like that. It was a picture of like a room, a bedroom, and you had to spot all of the hazards in the bedroom.
Oh,
this
nice.
feels like
That's just like
That's,
this.
yeah. That's impressive. Did you get a prize or a certificate?
I got a shield with my name spelt wrong.
Oh
How can they spell your name?
Thomas Nelstrop. Well, it's
Nelstrop.
really, yeah.
Oh, man.
I think it's pretty easy to spell my name.
Yeah, I thought you meant Thomas, the Tom bit.
No.
That's funny.
That reminds me of that episode where there is that plug with all the frayed wires and
yeah.
they touch it, and then someone else in a different part of the school, they exchange personalities and they didn't see each other. Then they don't know
right.
it's happened and they don't know who has their
That's
personality.
right, but
Yes.
it's a teacher and a year 7 pupil
Yeah.
have swapped personalities.
So the teacher's
So
all like, all right, cool, blimey, you know.
hilarity. It's very good. That
It's very
episode.
good. It's very clever.
It's really
Yeah.
clever.
It's really good, and what I love is they managed to get a bit of a life lesson in as well, because the episode ends with an explanation of how to wire a plug properly, and like a sort of PSA to the audience: make sure your plugs are wired properly. That's what I love about this show, that it can go from swapping personalities to a little lesson
To
about how
life
to wire a
lessons,
plug.
yeah. Something we all need.
Yeah. And in this episode, the lesson is very much about depression and not being depressed. But yeah, so moving on from that
Yeah.
scene, we eventually go to the main event, which, again, I was so into, which is the school Valentine's Disco. Maybe we'll hear a bit of that.
And also listen out for a very famous guest.
Welcome to the stage, Damien Albrand from Blun.
It's Damon Albarn from Blur, actually, Teach. oh. And this disco is officially open.
Jared, where are you going?
Just going, all right?
Wow.
This
Isn't
is
it brilliant?
what I meant. You would never be able to guess that this is where this episode would end up. They love their guest stars.
I love it.
Yeah, but Damon Albarn.
Oh.
Wow.
What a coup, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how you both felt at the time, but I was such a big fan of Blur and basically all Britpop and all the
Yeah.
indie music.
I was beside myself
Were
when
you?
this when this guest star, because they were really into their guest stars during this era, and it's actually something they got kind of wrapped on the knuckles for a little bit, like just relying on a good guest star. Because there was a brilliant episode like where Lily Savage came in and was an art
Yes.
teacher, which was, I mean, I loved that.
Yeah.
But they got told off for relying too heavily. But this was a coup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was amazing. And apparently he only did it to annoy Liam Gallagher.
Yeah.
Which it worked.
Which he did, yeah.
Because Liam Gallagher went on to
Going live.
the very next week that this aired.
Yeah. To talk about it,
Not to talk about the
I see
there's
what
a
you
clip
mean.
with him when he was answering phones, but he couldn't work out which end was you listened to it. And he didn't really field many calls because it was mainly him just trying to work out
how phone works.
and the cord was all around him. And,
Yeah, it was just amazing, wasn't it? And also, the other thing I love about this cameo is that it's very brief.
Yeah.
Which is just hilarious.
They clearly got him for like half an hour.
Exactly.
this
It's just
was kind
like
of
in
par
and
for the
out.
course because Labour were really pushing that celebrity link thing, weren't they? So
Yeah.
I feel that this is just like a reaction to society at the time. It's like, how many celebrities can we get to endorse our product, or
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would want to get big hitters on there.
Yeah, totally.
Do you remember when Bruce Forsyth was in an episode?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And it was because was he doing the Generation Game at the time? And so it was, big Saturday night television. They're like, we're going to do a crossover. And he turns up the thing is, I was expecting it to be rubbish, and he was so good. He was he played a really strict deputy teacher who was coming in to like cover a science lesson, and he was like really good. And I was sitting there with my arms folded, going, "This is going to be rubbish." And then he was really funny and really good,
really sort of self-aware as well.
Yeah.
When he opens with "Nice to take the register, to take the register,
Yeah.
nice."
Well, I said nice at home, but what I love is in the episode the students just look at him.
Yeah.
It's
And there's
great.
deadly silence.
So back to Damon Albarn.
Yeah. So it was amazing. I mean, it was so brief but so memorable, and I remember just like screaming at the TV when it happened. So good. But then the fun in this episode doesn't stop there, because now we're finally getting to the supernatural bit, which we will hear, I believe. Let me just put it into context for you.
Can I just say something about that Damon Albarn thing? Is it's weird that he's DJing, right?
He's introducing the acts. So it's this Valentine's disco where I don't know if your schools ever did anything similar, but mine used to have like a sort of battle of the bands, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Occasionally people would do stuff. So it's the Valentine's disco, people do a little set.
Yes.
So Jared, eyeliner, baggy end of jeans guy, curtains, does some singing with his guitar. And I believe, and Damon is introducing him to the stage. Obviously, because that makes sense.
But what doesn't make sense to me is that Damon Albarn introduces it, but then doesn't play a Blur song to intro him in. It's a completely generic sort of like library music song. But so maybe he said, I'll be on, but I won't give you any of my music.
I think that's almost definitely what happened.
Yeah.
That they weren't allowed to use a Blur song, almost certainly.
Yeah, I remember thinking that at the time that was really weird. It felt really anticlimactic in a way.
It was like,
it was great to see him, but yeah.
It was nice to see. It was nice to see the chap, but
I'm a big fan of any episode of Leyline High where there's like a talent show or a battle of the bands, and it's clear that some of the young actors are trying to launch a pop career off the back of it. I'm a big fan of that.
Yes.
And that's clearly what the actor who plays Jared is doing here, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And it did not work.
No, it didn't work. But he did attempt it, didn't he?
He did attempt it. And I looked it up, and I think he got to number 46 in the charts with Wanna Love You. I don't remember that at all. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, it's like, wanna love you, girl. Wanna be with you. Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
I don't remember this at all.
did he go, girl?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Double
I think
girl.
I remember that. Wanna love you, girl. It's called Wanna Love You brackets girl, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
To make sure that everyone knew that he was into
Passed me
girls.
by. I do not remember this.
Yeah.
Wanna Love You, by the way, girls.
I want to make that clear.
Just to be super clear. That was pretty banging tune. Yeah.
Well, I'm afraid that the people of the UK did not agree that it was a banging tune.
They thought, mate, it bangs a little bit, but not enough to...
Yeah, I do remember though watching it on the chart show. Did you used to watch the chart show?
Oh yeah, I remember the charts show.
For people who didn't watch it, they would play the top. Was it the top?
Well, they would change, wouldn't it? They would do the
20
top 10, and there would be like these kind of weird spaceships, weren't they? That would fly. This is the chart show.
Yeah.
So there'd be like the rock chart,
Yes,
top
that's
10
right,
rock
the
chart,
indie charts.
top 10
Yeah.
indie chart, but they would change it each week. So they would be like, R&B this week or whatever.
Yeah.
But there were these like spaceships that would be like idents in between.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. And And
I wasn't paying attention in the 90s, clearly.
I was paying quite a lot of attention to anything Jared related.
Yeah.
And also anything sort
That's
of
weird. I don't know if I'm
indie-related.
making that up, but, you know.
No, I kind of know what you mean. They'd kind of like, the idents would sort of zoom in.
Yeah.
And then you'd see the video.
They'd be flying around the desert or something like that.
Yeah, but
I've taken us off on a tangent again.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's a nice tangent though. It's
Yeah,
lovely
those
to
spaceships
revisit
were really
those times.
nice.
I reckon I've probably got that on VHS somewhere. I'll try and dig it out, see if I can find Jared's video.
Oh, if we could get a bit of that, that'd
Yeah.
be amazing. Okay, if we can get a bit of that, we'll put it in the end of this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
If pos. So, so now we're getting to the supernatural bit, the kind of one spooky bit of this episode. So I don't want to say too much more about that.
It's quite an afterthought,
yes,
isn't it?
It's quite an afterthought.
It feels like the first draft definitely didn't have any of it in.
Yeah.
And then the script editor went, you know, there is meant to be something supernatural in every episode. They went, oh, okay. And they went back and they just shoved this bit in.
Yeah, quite a crowbar. Here you go.
Hey, Jared, you can do it. You can do it, man.
No, I can't. I've got stage fright.
You have to believe in yourself, dude. You can do it, man.
How?
I believe in you, Jared.
And so do I, dude. Now, come on. Let's go and shred some beats, dude.
That was spooky.
Yeah, right?
Actual Kurt Cobain rising up from beyond the grave.
Yeah.
This is what I mean by you could not have predicted that.
No.
When you start watching this episode, you would not have said, oh, Damon Albarn will be introducing the bands and there'll be the ghost of Kurt Cobain will be transferred into the body of one of the students. Like, you can't say, oh, yeah, I saw that one coming.
Yeah, because all you've known so far is that Jared has felt like this insecurity, potential depression, you know, stage fright about playing in this school Valentine's disco. But yeah, you're right. You couldn't have predicted how he would overcome his stage fright. Would be for the ghost of Kurt Cobain to transfer his talent via his ghost guitar.
What I also love about this is it's never followed up.
Yeah.
So
No.
after you go, okay, so is he going to be like permanently, once the ghost of Kurt Cobain has left, is Jared going to be permanently changed? Like he just feels different? And is it ever mentioned ever again?
If you were a skeptic about this, you might say that was something that in his head that he's sort of created from this state of mind that he's
that's
been in,
good.
right?
Yeah.
But other people see it too, right?
And we, the viewers, hear it
Yeah.
and see the big, like, magical...
We see it.
Transition. I really saw it. How did you feel when you watched this? Because I was very moved as a teenager.
Were you?
Yeah, I was, because when Kurt Cobain died, it was actually a huge, big deal.
Yeah.
It was a huge, big deal, guys. I remember at the time being like, oh, God, that's actually quite powerful.
I don't remember being moved, but I do remember that the BBC got complaints about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then so I do remember that it was in the papers the next day, like the next morning, and it was going, oh, this is disgusting. That it's using the ghost of a fairly recently dead celebrity is it's inappropriate for, because he went out, 5'10"?
Yes.
This,
Yeah.
and so there was a lot. I remember vividly. There was a big furore, and I think there was a sort of one of those debate shows, and there were people sort of shouting, and there was a person who represented.
Wasn't
the
that
BBC.
Robert Kilroy Silk? Didn't they have it on Kilroy?
Yeah,
Might
that's
have been.
right.
Yeah, because they had like a sort of representative of the BBC. It was this sort of very, I don't know who it was. It was a very straight-laced woman who was, I feel so sorry for her, and she was having to go, well, we do apologise if anyone was offended, but we believe that this was it was inappropriate for this time slot and all this. And I remember that. I remember the sort of the aftermath of it really vividly.
Yeah, there were some parent groups as well that weren't happy.
Do you know what my overriding feeling was? Confusion, because I didn't know who Kurt Cobain was.
No way! You kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Oh wow! Yeah, so it just wasn't on your radar.
I was like, who's this?
It's
just an American ghost.
It's an incredibly good point, because they never explain. There's nothing in the episode that's for anyone who doesn't know who Kurt Cobain is.
No.
Oh right, yeah.
Well, it's not
nothing-
explained, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's not.
I was watching it going, Oh right, so the imaginary friend just happens to be American with some long hair.
I see what you mean, because also obviously for rights reasons they couldn't use any Nirvana tracks.
No.
So you're right. That would have been I think there were some really subtle references. Like I think he had a badge that said "I love Courtney."
I didn't pick up on that, you see.
And,
I probably thought, and this American weird loves someone called Courtney.
Yeah, which would be a fair enough assumption. And for listeners who don't know, Courtney Love was his partner before he died. But yeah, I mean that is so niche, isn't it? Niche and subtle. If you're not
I've never really
obsessed
thought
and
about
looking
it before,
out for it.
But there's no line of dialogue.
There's nothing.
No, you're right.
There's nothing.
You're
Hi,
right.
I'm Kurt Cobain. I would have appreciated. I would have appreciated just a little nod in the direction.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm the ghost of Kurt Cobain or something like that. I mean, nothing that doesn't even have to be that overt. Just
I wonder if the writers were deliberately.
Keeping it ambiguous.
Yeah, in order to protect themselves from the backlash which they seem to know would happen. I wouldn't have expected that to happen, but maybe.
Also, it's really weird that they have the real Damon Albarn, but obviously they can't get the real Kurt Cobain in. So it doesn't look like him.
No, true. You're right, it doesn't, does it? Because, you're right. Yeah.
It's a strange episode. I love the fact that you've chosen it because it's quite offbeat for a Leyline High episode.
Yeah.
And it's quite... but people always mention it. I mean, this is the thing. It does always get mentioned when going through the top 10 episodes that you remember. It does often get mentioned. So... It's interesting that one that's so off the beaten track for Leyline High, which has barely any spookiness and has 1.5 celebrity guest stars in. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, but I think... to me, it sums up the sort of 90s Leyline High approach. Yeah. It has everything in it because it has that pivotal relationship. And at this point, I think they were feeling quite aware / intimidated of shows like My So-Called Life, which were huge. And it's no coincidence, I think, that the main character is called Angela, which was the main character on My So-Called Life.
It?
Yeah, playing opposite Jared, which is the actor's name of the... main character in
this is a scandal.
I know, right? I don't know whether it was
amazing. I've never put two and two together. And
I don't know whether it was like a cheeky wink to that or an acknowledgement of it of like, the UK can do that too because that was an American show.
Yeah.
But I just think all of the sort of rites of passage stuff about being a teenager at this time. Not all of them, obviously, but I think a lot of those kind of things are summed up in this episode for me. And obviously, that love story was just so brilliant and so.
I'm just looking at Susan, just like, no, it wasn't. Come on, nothing happened. There should have been some action. For me, I mean, the guitar was cool.
Yeah,
the guitar stuff, the shredding or whatever he does. That was cool.
What would you like to have seen?
It was clear that he's not playing it himself, though.
Yeah,
he's
when it comes in close and it's clearly like a much older person's hands.
hairy hands. It's like that kid did not have hairy hands like that. And he's like, and everyone's just sat in awe watching. Because previously he's not the cool kid, is he?
No, he's like got aspirations of being the cool kid. Yeah. I think you're right. I would have definitely liked to have seen like when he's shredding something extra, like he's lifted up or something, like it makes him able to fly, like and everybody's looking up or amazed. Something really visually exciting and a bit more spooky than what we've got. I think that you're right.
Susan's looking at me like he was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was.
Did you have a thing for Jared?
I mean, of course. I'm not dead inside. Yeah, like he was.
Not like Kurt Cobain.
Hey! I
totally see it. He was the sensitive one.
He was the sensitive one, but also he was kind of mean and moody. Like we see it in that first scene. He was troubled, and there's nothing more attractive in the 90s for me than being like a troubled, angsty guy who also played the guitar. I mean, great. What more do you want?
He's like sort of all hard on the outside, but actually, if you get to know him, there's a real sensitive soul under there. Yeah. It's absolute classic. Absolutely classic. Can we talk a little bit about the sort of all of the issues that were covered, not just in this episode, but generally in this era, sort of 93 to 97 or 8, they lent hard into issues-based stuff. I remember, I feel like I remember bullying storylines that went on for about 4 years.
Yeah.
And it felt like bullying, hey, bullying is bad. That was kind of the general mission statement.
Yeah,
It was mixed
totally.
messages, wasn't it, though? Because it was a lot of it dealt with how to deal with the bullies.
Yeah.
But because the bullies just continued in their bullying,
Yeah.
none of it appeared to work. So what
Nothing
message
worked.
was that?
No,
giving
but
out?
I did like it when they would use supernatural methods to defeat bullies.
But
that was always a fun...
who's got those supernatural
No, it's not
things
helpful,
to their...
is it? It's not helpful.
It's not helpful.
It's
Yeah,
not-
okay,
it's-
they summoned the ghost. You know, they did. Yeah, great.
such a
Or
good point.
they levitated this guy until he was.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
do that, kids.
So do
It's
that.
really good.
Yeah.
Like it's not like here's how to wire a plug, like we were saying. It's not helpful. You
Yeah.
can't go away and do it.
No,
a
that's
good
true,
point.
actually. And it was like that. It was like they would just pile an issue on, say, this is an issue, this is bad, but not give you the tools to deal with it. The
Yeah.
same with the depression. I mean, you're never going to meet Kurt Cobain, really, the ghost of, so you're not going to be imbued with self-confidence. And it was the same when they would talk about, like, periods. Do you remember? They went through that
yeah.
page of that stage of being like, periods happen. And they can be really difficult to deal with. But again, they weren't telling you
How to deal with that.
how to like deal with how you felt about it or any practical things. It
Yeah.
was just like someone would be really tortured by the fact that they would have their period without planning in advance. And they'd have it during PE. Do you remember?
Yeah.
But that was also, they were conflating it with her being possessed as well.
Yes, that's
so it's
right,
like, well,
mixed
okay,
messages.
great. I'm on my period. Am I possessed?
Yeah, there was real Carrie vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But also, that character was ace, so it was so brilliant, and so
Yeah. It
was
so
cool.
it was just like, oh, I want to be just like her, put possessed every month.
yeah. Yes, that's
Time of the
right.
month.
Yeah.
In the earlier episodes, in the sort of early 80s and back into the 70s, it was the opposite. That it was the issue was a supernatural thing. So they do like, just say no to summoning the dead, and you're watching at home going, okay, well, I
Well,
won't
that's never
then.
come up, so I've never had to say no.
Yeah, the only thing you could action like that was like to avoid Ouija boards.
That was it. There was
had
a
a
lovely
big
storyline.
Ouija board thing. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
like 92 or 3, which is it was a whole series was around. In the first episode, they use there's a party and they use a Ouija board, and then they are haunted for the rest of the series, which was really ambitious.
Yeah.
Not just one episode, like they were probably doing serialized storytelling.
Can I just say, were Ouija boards big at your school?
Yeah, we did. Like, I remembered having one at a sleepover.
We had them like in primary school. We were doing them in our last year of primary school. It caught on, and we genuinely had to have an assembly where they told us not to do them.
No.
I love that when you have a special assembly, and you're like, and maybe it's an assembly outside of the normal assembly time. You go, oh god, it's going to go down. This is going to be so juicy. What is this about?
But also,
so you
like,
had one of
I
those
put myself in the shoes of I think it was the deputy head who had to tell us all. And put yourself in the shoes of that person. This is just a really weird situation to tell these kids not to do Ouija boards. And he ended up I think he sort of panicked because he was like, you don't know what you're dealing with. But that even made it...
That's even more exciting.
Yeah, that's even more. What are we dealing... Oh, is it working? Even the adults seem to be spooked by this.
What I love is like, well, then it's definitely real.
Yeah,
well, I'm going
it's
to try
definitely
it.
real.
Yeah.
Don't smoke, kids, even though it looks really cool. It's
Yeah.
like it's like
You don't know what you're dealing with.
Did you carry on doing them?
I think that a select few people, hardcore students, carried on with it. But that was enough for me to go, oh, perhaps I don't know what I'm dealing with.
So you say last year of primary school, so you'd be what, 10,
Last
11?
year, yeah.
It's very young for a Ouija board.
No, genuinely, this happened.
Yeah.
But that's what that makes me think how good and on the ball
Yeah.
Leyline High was, because when you're 10, 11, you're aspiring to be older and
if
you're
it
watching.
was something from Leyline High that someone picked up on.
Yeah, very possibly, right? Very possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Did you
probably
ever
was.
Did you ever get a message? Because it's what's it called? Idio mode suggestions, isn't it? So it's like you move
it,
the thing, but
Well,
Yeah.
that's what you think, Gemma.
We were trying to speak to the dead, and I remember it was like, what is your name? And the name was something like...
yeah.
It was like...
You're like,
know.
I think that's Egyptian or something.
Don't say it 3 times. I can't because I don't know how to spell it. What was it to begin with?
Yeah, that's an ancient Egyptian that's talking to us. Oh my God. That's great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, really on the money then. Leyline High,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Ouija board story. We should talk about one of those.
I would say
Ouija board
dealing with
episodes.
issues, but also creating issues.
Yeah, let's do one of those Ouija board episodes in a future podcast.
Definitely. And then just to wrap up on this one, we're just going to play a tiny clip from the final scene where we get a real sense of the sexual chemistry between the 2 main characters.
Welcome to the stage, Jared Begattini.
This song's called Self-Belief,
Wow, he's got so much stage
and it's
presence.
dedicated to someone special.
Did Jared just wink at you, Angela?
Maybe.
I reckon he fancies you.
Nah, we're just mates. For now.
2, 3.
What a cliffhanger, hey?
Spicy.
What an emotional cliffhanger. The best kind of cliffhanger.
But like we say, that's the storyline about him being possessed by Kurt Cobain's ghost is never picked up on again.
No.
I don't think it's ever mentioned.
No.
Maybe they weren't allowed to because of all of the fury.
I think that's right, because otherwise they definitely would have to have some sort of like continuation. Yeah.
Shall we talk about Angela? So in each episode, we focus on an episode of the show or a storyline, and then we look at a particular character. And with this, it was always going to be Jared or Angela we look at. And I think Angela is a slightly longer running character in the show. So we should talk about her. I love the character of Angela. She's brilliant, and she is played by an actress called Poppy Howard, who's still around, who's still working. She's about our age, right? She was been
Yeah.
Must be.
Yeah, must be.
She started. They tend to be the actors tend to be a couple of years older than the characters
Yeah.
they're playing, but
Right.
only a little bit. So at this point, she's probably about something like 17 playing 15 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I think
need to look
so.
up when she was born. But she's brilliant here. I loved the character of Angela. You, I assume, were very taken with.
Loved her. I cut my hair into a bob to try and emulate her. As discussed already, I did the whole head under a plastic bag. She was brilliant. She was intelligent. She had a good group of friends. She said what she thought. She was determined.
Yep.
She was a feminist, which in the 90s was quite forward thinking, because there was a lot of, it wasn't great being a teenage girl in the 90s. But she was brilliant. She had a sort of ladette phase, didn't she?
Yeah.
When in the lower sixth, I think.
Yeah, and it's brilliant when they go into the lower six and they're in their own clothes all the time.
Yes, I love
and
that.
And you can tell like the costume department really went to town with Angela.
Yeah.
Because most of the time when you're in year 7 to year, was it 10, 11, right? They have to wear the school uniform. And of course they do the adaptations, like you have the short tie, the thin tie at the front,
Yes.
like
The
rolling
fat
up the
tie
skirt
at the
and all
front.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all of that. All of those adaptations. And I want to hear what your adaptations of your uniforms were in a minute. They do that with Angela, but when they get into the sixth form, then they can really start showing the personality of the characters in their own clothes. And some of Angela's clothes were just amazing, weren't they?
Yeah.
I liked it when she would wear like hats because it was the 90s, so those sort of floppy velvet hats with the flower on the front. There was a lot of those. There's a lot of multicoloured tights.
Yeah, and a lot of
Fantastic.
like DMs. She had different DMs every episode, it felt like.
Yeah,
and
different colours.
Like silver ones with the names of bands written on.
Yeah.
She was so cool. And also she carried a copy of The Female Eunuch wherever she went in lower sixth, do you remember? Which was very heavy-handed, but I loved that from the writers. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. And of course I bought a copy and read it and didn't understand it. But yeah, and her eyeshadow as well was always great, like a lot of sparkliness going on.
She gets sent to like the head teacher's office quite a lot because she's wearing too much makeup.
Yeah.
But she would defy them and put more makeup. There's one episode where she goes to the
Where
loose
she's
with
just-
more
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And isn't there one? I have a vague memory of her getting possessed by some lipstick or something that's got
yeah.
I don't know,
They
a
sort of
magical
added
spell.
that. All I remember is that when she did it, these little sparkles appear.
Yeah.
And I was like, where? How do they do that?
Yeah, VFX.
Yeah. I think that was the first time you see some sort of like
Brilliant.
VFX sort of thing. But it's obviously like, you watch it back now and it looks really, rubbish. But it's just at the time, it's like, wow.
And it changed her personality. Like she put on this lipstick and it changed her personality. And so I think that got maybe Poppy Howard, the actor, wanted. You get that in long running shows, don't you? The actors get bored of their characters and they go, can we contrive a way of me playing a different character or this person getting changed for some reason? And then she was brilliant in that episode. She should have got a BAFTA.
She was so good.
She was so good.
And do you remember when the phase when she had all those bracelets up her arm, like jingly jangly bracelets, and they would the episode where they would just tighten and tighten. Oh
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that was
a curse or
representing.
something.
There was a curse.
Yeah.
And they had to sneak up on someone and she was trying to stop her bangles from jangle bangles. They were jangle bangles.
They were jangle bangles. What were your school uniform adaptations, Gem? You mentioned earlier.
So our uniform had like a little on the jumper. It had a little lion, and I can't tell you why we did this, but you know those little the hole reinforcers that you little sort of circular. They look like polar mints. They're stickers.
Yes,
you put one of those around the head of the lion, and I don't know why. And that was just the thing for a term.
It's so specific.
It's so specific, and it was like, oh, you haven't got one of the hole reinforcers around the head of your lion. You must be very uncool. What?
Was there a gang of you that went around with hole reinforcement? Did you call each other the hole reinforcers?
It was sort of everyone did that for a term. It wasn't even divided into cool kids versus non-cool kids. Very weird. And yeah, obviously we did the fat short tie and then the long thin tie. What tie adaptations did you have?
Well, thanks for asking, because I was pretty cool, so I wore my uniform in sort of the standard way. So I never went too long. In fact, I would always, when I got ready in the morning, I was a bit of a swot. Let's be honest. I would always make sure that the tie was exactly the right length and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Sometimes I think I went to school and had gone kind of too overboard in being neat and sort of tucked my trousers into my socks or something like that. Remember that moment? Yeah, I think I did that at some point.
And the teachers were encouraging you to, hey, be a bit more of a rebel. Like
I can't.
That's very sweet.
How about you, Susan? Did you do any?
Nothing major, but we did do the short fat tie. Short fat tie, and I think it became a bit frayed as well, but that probably was accident rather than design, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Just like slapdashness of me at the time and now.
And the rolls of a skirt that have been rolled up. I mean, there's a whole storyline of Angela like rolling up her skirt, and because they were like quite matronly, the school skirts of the time, and they're like proper like, calf length. Yes. And so it's like there's an episode where she like keeps rolling. And then isn't there like there's a sort of Victorian nurse ghost in that episode. I can't even remember like what happened.
Yeah.
You just made me think of something. Rolling up. So a little fun thing that you can do, right?
Yeah.
I never did this because it's too risque. You'd roll up your tie, put it by your mouth, and then you would release the rolled up tie and pretend you were being sick. So then it would look like it would look like a tongue or something, or the sick itself was the tie. Try it at home.
Okay, great. I'm going to try that tonight.
What were your school uniform adaptations, listeners? Do write into the show.
But Poppy Howard has cropped up a few times, since.
Yeah, she's still working.
She's been on a number of reality TV shows. Right. She was in the First Dates, sort of celebrities, wasn't she?
Yeah, loved her on that.
I missed that.
God.
And her date just didn't know. It's like whatever she was saying that I was in this show, and I was like, never heard of that.
No. Which was so gutting to watch because she was so iconic.
She was so good.
It must feel really
Have you
weird.
ever heard of Leyline High, the show that I was in? I was in Leyline High, and he was like, I've never heard of it.
Oh no, I'm glad I never saw that.
But he was a total waste of space because he was just someone w'd become famous from reality TV, wasn't he? I think I can't even remember who it was, but it was one of those people who, and you're like, oh my god, you don't know how lucky you are to be sitting opposite Poppy Howard.
And I saw her when I think she'd only recently left the show. So this is going to be something like 2000 or 2001 in a play. She came to the Birmingham Rep, and she was in, I think it was like it was a lesser known Shakespeare. It's like the Merry Wives of Windsor or something. And she was really good. She was only young, like she'd have been in her early 20s then, and she was great. She was really fantastic. But yeah, I always thought, she'll go on to some amazing drama or something. But she sort of, it makes me sad that
it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Being in something like that. And especially around that time, I think nowadays you don't really have that. Do you? I mean, if someone was in EastEnders now, they maybe wouldn't get another. I don't know.
Another shot.
Yeah.
Another shot at something else. But then you do see it. So
you do see it, don't you? And like, I think the sad thing was that the actor who played Jared, Russ Hardy, did go on, obviously, to make it really big in America, and he's now really, really well regarded.
Yeah. He does like all stunts and things as well, doesn't he? Like that, he's sort of known for all these action sequences and doing his own stunts and things.
Which is ironic because he didn't play that guitar.
Yeah, he needed a stunt hands to play the guitar. But the exciting thing, listeners, is that we spoke to Poppy Howard. I can't believe I'm saying that.
I couldn't believe it.
I know.
I'm sorry that you were away, Gemma.
I wasn't able to be there.
You were working, weren't you? Away.
I was working, but. Yeah, we've got an exclusive interview. She very graciously gave us a little bit of time, and so we'll play out the interview. We called her, and I think she took her a little bit by surprise, and so you can hear like she wasn't sure who we were, but eventually she did open up about.
I think we convinced her.
Yeah, I think we convinced her. Okay. And thank you so much, Susan and Tom, for doing the interview. This is our interview, exciting, exclusive interview with Poppy Howard.
Our interview, not yours.
Not mine.
It's ringing.
Oh my God, I'm scared.
Hello?
Oh, hi.
Hello.
Sorry to bother you. Is that Poppy Howard?
Speaking.
Oh, wow.
Hello, I'm here too.
This
is we're two people calling you at the moment.
Can I help you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Susan Harrison.
And I'm Thomas Nelstrop.
And we're just calling from a podcast. We're basically huge fans of Leyline High.
Right. Yes, I think my agent mentioned something about...
I think you might have got an email, but I'm not sure. But anyway.
I sent an email.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So you would have got an email from me,
Tom,
rather than Susan.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Do you want to?
Shall I go?
Yeah, sure. Or I could do the.
Poppy, you still there?
I'm just making some dinner. So is this going to take a long time?
So basically we're I guess mainly me in a way, but both of us are big fans of like you specifically. But
of your character,
right?
And you. Right, and you as an actor as well, obviously, yeah. But I think maybe me more. But anyway, we both are, and we just wondered. I don't know, Tom. Do you want to carry on?
Just if you would like to take a bit of time to just talk to us about,
or we could ask stuff, like a talk,
what
or
would be better for you?
Yeah, what would you prefer?
Well, as I say, I'm just sort of making a dinner at the moment.
What are you having?
It's boiling pasta, but
nice.
So I really need to. I'll probably.
It'll only take like a few minutes, and this isn't a scam or anything like that.
No.
Well, we have been having a lot of scam calls, and
have you just started making the pasta, or is it already on the boil?
Well, it's about. I mean, it's about 4 minutes into making the.
Okay.
Pasta, so.
But unless you'd rather we call you back later.
What pasta is it?
It's fusilli pasta.
Nice.
Fusilli.
Are you making your own sauce, or is it like a sort of pesto kind of?
It's. I'm my own sauce actually. It's but is this the interview?
Oh no, we were just no, basically no. We just I just wanted to make sure see what stage you were at the cooking, because I obviously don't want to like impose
Take
for too long.
Yeah,
exactly. But if it's just a sort of shop bought sauce, it's probably okay just to.
Well, I mean, no, it's sort of I just made it up.
Sorry, you meant from scratch.
Well, just sort of chopped
sounds
That's
tomatoes.
brilliant.
Well,
I always mean to do that, but then.
What, is this the interview?
Oh no, sorry. I just didn't want to take up well, I think, Tom, you felt and I felt as well like we didn't want to take up too much time. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure that we're not, we just kind of
imposing.
want... Exactly. Yeah. So did you, I don't know, did
Should
you...
we go into the questions?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Do you...
Did you enjoy...
Oh, are you starting with that one or...
You just introduce yourself to it.
If
Because
you've
we're
got...
recording, is that okay?
If you've got enough time...
I should have asked it. Okay to record.
Yeah. Don't worry. But only if you've got...
You're supposed to legally do that. But they
Yeah.
The call.
Yeah.
But that would have been...
Hello?
Anyway, let's just... Sorry, I'm quite aware that probably... Do you know how much longer you've got on your past...
Well, there's a timer that will go off, but...
Well, maybe
What's
we'll
it
just...
saying right now?
Maybe we'll just...
From the other room, it'll...
Should we just cut straight to... Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you have the time in the other room?
Look, is this the interview? Is it happening?
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just going to... I'll just... Shall I just cut to the main...
Yeah, do the second one.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It's the second one. Hang on. Let me just... Sorry, just get my emails up. Oh, sorry. It's just my phone's gone dark again. Hang on. Oh, yeah. Did you enjoy working on Leyline High?
Yeah. It was good. It was okay.
Oh, wow.
That's the timer's gone
All right,
off.
you better go.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right,
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
so
very
much.
much.
Sounds delicious,
Thanks,
by the way.
Poppy. Thank you.
Yeah.
We didn't...
I think
Yeah.
in retrospect, maybe we could have gone in
could have
with
gone
a
in
bit
with
more
it
of
a bit stronger.
or kind of arranged the time in advance.
Yes.
But that's
I think you were a bit starstruck as well.
Totally.
You know.
Completely.
But anyway, that's why...
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
so
why
we
I
did
went
set
back.
up
So we did-
another call and we did this properly. Having
set
learned
up.
our lessons. And I think going
Yeah.
forward, we're just going to do it this way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, and so here is that second call. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Poppy.
Yes. This is Susan.
Yes.
And Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we rang a bit before, but the less said about the better, really.
Right.
I
And
think-
so I've got a bit more time this time. So happy to answer some questions.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Really appreciate
Yeah.
it. So I think we began last time by asking you if you enjoyed working on Leyline High. It'd be brilliant just to hear a little bit more about how the experience was for you, if that's okay.
Well, obviously it sort of is what made me at the time a household name, if I can say that. It was grueling. It was long work hours, and I mean, in the long term, it has. I don't want to say it's overshadowed the rest of my work because I really do love what I'm doing now. But people don't ring and ask me about all of the TIE work that I do.
Oh.
So I'm travelling up and down the country.
Okay.
With my theatre group, talking about exactly the same issues, going into schools just like Leyline High, talking about all the issues that we dealt with on Leyline High, but with my wonderful theatre and education group, Poppycock.
They're called Poppycock and you go into schools.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great.
brilliant. Yeah, I didn't realise you were doing so much of that, but that sounds like it's really rewarding.
It's so rewarding, and I just wish people would have some questions about that instead of Leyline High.
So going back to Leyline High, working with the actor who played Jared, was that cool?
Russell.
Yeah. Did you? Because it seemed like you had a proper on-screen chemistry.
It was something we absolutely switched on when the cameras went on. We were very different people. He was actually. I mean, I love Russell. Don't get me wrong, but he's very, very dull.
Really?
In
wow.
real life, he's very dull. Whereas I had a sort of, I think I had a sort of fantastic set of hobbies that I was up to, and it was just all he was focused on was his work and just the lines and so on. And so, I mean, it's paid off.
Yeah,
him
he's
because
done very well, hasn't he?
He's done very well. He's obviously over in the States now.
Yeah. Do you think if you had been a bit more career-minded, you could be where he is now?
I think I'm exactly where I want to be, touring local secondary schools. Well, not even local, national. And our latest tour, we've even got a school in Carlisle, which is almost Scotland. So that's almost 2 different countries, if you think about it.
And when you look back at Leyline High, if you could give any advice to yourself, the young, brilliant, if I may say so, actress playing Angela at that time, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say it was something like, when that American agent comes onto the set, absolutely say yes, rather than, no, I'm all right, thanks. I've got my music, I've got my parents, I've got my all of my different hobbies that I'm up to. Just grab onto him with both hands and say, yes, absolutely, I will go and do pilot season in the States. I'd say probably
sounds like some sage advice there.
Probably that's the advice I'd give. Yeah.
Oh wow! So, do you have any plans now to move into TV or film in the States? Now that you're, very experienced, etc.
Well, I mean, it would take me away from all of the sort of the wonderful education that I'm getting across to the next group of young people. So our latest one is about bullying. It's a wonderful piece about bullying and how the end, the sort of moral at the end of the piece is that bullying is actually very bad.
Oh, yeah. And what other issues are coming up? I guess there's lots of, we live in a digital age now.
That's right. Social media, how you should use it sparingly, get off your phone, and vaping. We're doing a big, a sort of big special about vaping, which I'm writing at the moment.
That cool. Vaping's bad.
That vaping is bad.
Okay.
Talking of social media, as you did, I hope you don't mind me asking about this, I was really sorry to see that there was a TikTok from a kid who'd been watching your TIE in the school, and they were a bit disparaging about it.
I'd heard
I just
about
wondered how
that.
you felt.
Well, I'm not on any of the social
cool. That's
media,
probably best.
but I have heard about this. But yes, I think it was something my agent mentioned to me, where they were sort of they were going, it's you literally won't believe. There was a sort of caption on the screen. You literally won't believe how terrible this is, or something. But sometimes words mean the opposite, don't they? In sort of modern parlance.
Do.
So like bad
can
mean good. And
terrible, that's what you mean. Okay,
terrible probably means that it's fantastic.
I think it still means terrible.
I know. I don't know. But I don't get involved in all of that. I think that the purpose of an artist is to just throw their art out into the world, and however it's received,
see what sticks.
Is see what sticks. Yes, exactly. How it's received is up to the person receiving the art, not the person giving it. So,
that's nice.
Going back to Leyline High, would you be interested if they ever came together with like a reboot or something like that? Would you be a teacher or something? Because that's what you do now, right?
So amazing.
How much are they offering?
Oh no! This is like a
hypothetical.
hypothetical.
So, if they came with a decent offer,
Okay.
I mean, they need to speak to my agent.
Right.
Yeah. Am I right in thinking that? Sorry, I hope you don't mind me asking. Am I right in thinking you're still living on a boat?
A barge.
That's right. Yeah,
Sorry,
that's a narrow boat.
Oh, great! And is that something you plan to do for the foreseeable future, or?
Well,
is that a life?
It's a wonderful.
For you?
It's a wonderful life, and the mooring costs are quite prohibitive. People think it's cheap to live on a boat. You sort of rapidly find out it's actually rather pricey living on a boat. But it does mean that I can sort of go along the canals up and down the country. I'm hoping to I'm doing the next Poppycock show in Birmingham, so we're heading up on the canals up to there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to react to that, Poppy. I just, I think it was just a sort of knee-jerk reaction to the name Poppycock. I don't know if you often encounter that from students as you go in. Or...
They all laugh. But I suppose it's an actor's job to bring joy, isn't it? So that's probably
what it is, that they've got a lot of joy.
As a
I'm
positive.
guessing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you certainly brought a lot of joy to a lot of people,
in
particularly
Leyline High.
me in Leyline
Yeah.
High. Yeah, I just loved Angela, and I loved your performance. You know, I just want to say thank you so much. This is so exciting to talk to you, isn't it?
Yeah,
Great.
really exciting.
And if you know of any jobs going, any work, then you've got my email address. So
Do you mean acting work, or do you mean wider than that?
I mean anything really, but particularly acting work. So just drop me a line. You've got my email address, and I'd love to hear from you.
We're actors ourselves, so that'd be, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're all looking for work, really.
But I mean,
Hear of anything?
yeah, if we hear,
Yeah, but we're all in the same boat, really, aren't we?
Well, that's true.
Just pop me an email, or I can give you my phone. My
Oh, you can,
mobile
but, you know,
as well.
don't-
My mobile number. Just drop me a line.
Yeah.
Hear of anything at all.
It is quite quiet at the moment.
It's very
but,
quiet. I mean, this is why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, but I mean, we might be looking for someone to help edit at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Schools near you.
Can you edit?
No, but I could learn.
I think we need someone who can do.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you. That's been really helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. But yeah, just drop me a line whenever.
Yeah, we'll call you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, so it was like such a thrill
Yeah,
to talk to her.
it's
I
just
mean,
so positive.
Yeah, it wasn't 100% what I was expecting,
Yeah.
but it was
No.
really interesting to see. What was that like for you, Gemma, hearing that? It was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, I liked that because she's still really stylish, isn't she? Because I've seen her in the
Yeah.
paper recently, and she's still a very stylish woman. But we should maybe go along and see one of her shows. So we hope you've enjoyed this re-listen to that 90s episode of Leyline High. If you want to drop us here at the podcast an email, you can. We're at leylinehighrewind@gmail.com, and we're also on Blue Sky at Leyline High Rewind. We would love to hear from you.
And if you've got any memories from your own school days, or, you know, the way that you wore your tie or head bag, let us know.
Yeah, what are your memories of your school uniform adaptations? And were any of them reflected in an episode of Leyline High?
Or if you simply want us to dig out an old episode, please get in touch.
Yes, what was your favourite episode, favourite character, or favourite storyline? Do drop us a line. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please do give us a nice review wherever you get your podcasts. That really helps us out. Thanks so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye! Lay, 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 lay.
You're right, it's never mentioned again.
Did you say Fury?
Furore.
Ferrari. Ferrora. I thought it was Ferrora.
Aurora.
Ferrari. Is it
I
Ferrari?
now don't know.
No, it could mean anything now.
Is it Ferrari? Like Rory's someone you
Ferrari.
used to know. And he used to Ferrari.
Ferrari.
I don't know.
Furore. Oh, I've said it too many times.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I thought I would address it. Just in case people would, write in and say, I don't know.
Wanna love you, girl. Take you around the world. Yeah, I'll treat you right. Call you every night, girl. Wanna love you, girl. Buy you rings and pearls. Maybe fly a kite if you do me right now. I was watching you every day as you walk down by the sea. You're my kind of girl, yeah, I want you here with me. I'll take you for a date, I'll take you for a pizza. I'll take you to see your mom, it's so very nice to meet her. Wanna love you, girl, take you around the world. Yeah, I'll treat you good, take you around the neighborhood. Take you everywhere, don't take me for a fool. Take you to the fair, then I'll take you to the zoo. Sing it! Pizza! Pizza!
Leyline High Rewind was written, improvised and produced by us, Susan Harrison, Thomas Nelstrop and Gemma Arrowsmith. Editing and sound production by Thomas Nelstrop. Music by Tommy Music. The original Leyline High theme was composed by Mason St. Peloth. Artwork by Tom Crowley. If you enjoyed the show, why not give us a review on iTunes, Spotify, Podchaser or wherever you get your podcasts. But more importantly, get in touch with us to share your memories of Leyline High, the show everyone remembers. You can email us or send us a voice note at leylinehighrewind@gmail.com. You can also get in touch via Blue Sky at leylinehighrewind.bsky.social and find us on Instagram at Leyline High Rewind or visit our website leylinehigh.com.